3 days after the divorce, my ex-wife showed up on my doorstep, luggage in hand, looking utterly pathetic. "Honey," she pleaded, "I'm bankrupt. Please let me stay." For old time's sake, I gave her a temporary roof over her head. But what's with her getting all handsy with me? While other 25-year-olds are enjoying sweet romances, I'm already a young divorce. I haven't dared to tell my parents, fearing they'd skin me alive if they found out. I was trying to figure out a plausible story to give them. The doorbell rang, and I went to answer it, trembling, terrified it was my parents who'd heard something and come to confront me. But when I opened the door, it was my ex-wife, Anna. She looked exhausted. Her clothes were wrinkled, her dress was stained with coffee, and the hair she always kept so perfectly coiffed was a complete mess. Her usual powerhouse CEO aura had vanished. Right, my ex-wife was nothing special, just the CEO of a publicly traded company with a net worth in the billions. "What happened? Did you get mugged?" I asked. Otherwise, knowing her obsession with cleanliness, there was no way she'd let herself look so disheveled. Anna gave an awkward smile. "I'm bankrupt. Can you please let me stay for a little while?" 10 minutes later, Anna was sitting at my dining table, devouring a bowl of pasta. Judging by how fast she was eating, she must have been starving for days. No way, could she really be broke? I hadn't seen anything about it in the news. I carefully sat down across from her, trying not to say anything that would hurt her in her fragile state. "Are you really bankrupt?" I asked gently. "What about all your mansions, sports cars, and yachts?" She put down her fork and sighed heavily. "All gone. Used as collateral." With a bitter laugh, she pulled out a wallet that was completely empty. "I'm completely broke. If you don't take me in, I'll have to go live under a bridge with the homeless." She looked at me, her eyes pleading. "You'll let me stay, for old time's sake, won't you?" I hesitated. An ex-wife showing up to ask to move back in right after a divorce. It just wasn't normal. By all rights, we were supposed to go our separate ways and never speak again. Anna and I hadn't married for love, and we certainly didn't divorce over an affair. We were set up by her grandmother, Mrs. Blackwood. I was her private caregiver, diligently tending to all her needs, and her dying wish was to see her precious granddaughter marry me. It was a ridiculously dramatic situation, because Anna just agreed without putting up a fight. During our marriage, we were never physically intimate, but she was unbelievably good to me. She always made sure to include me in anything nice she had, whether it was food, drinks, or entertainment. Thinking about that, I caved. "All right," I nodded. "You can stay here for now." Anna, who had been watching me with desperate eyes, immediately brightened up. "Thank you so much." But then came the problem of the sleeping arrangements. My apartment is a one-bedroom, which is plenty of space for one person, but tight for two. I gave Anna a troubled look. I didn't want to sleep on the floor, and I definitely didn't want the couch. I'm a picky sleeper. But I couldn't make a former CEO sleep on the floor either. Even a bankrupt one was used to a life of luxury and wouldn't be able to handle it. My gaze drifted to the king-sized bed in the bedroom. Anna, seeming to sense my dilemma, proactively grabbed a pillow and headed for the living room. "The sofa's fine," she offered, which was pretty considerate of her. That night, while scrolling through the news in bed, a headline about Blackwood Enterprises caught my eye, and I immediately tapped on it. 10 minutes later, I got out of bed, threw on a shirt, and went to the living room to find Anna. I sighed to myself. She really was bankrupt. It was awful, just so pitiful. The article said not only was the company bankrupt, but all her personal assets had been seized as collateral. She had probably been accosted by angry employees who threw coffee and rotten eggs at her. That would explain the strange smell when she arrived. And after all that, I was making her sleep on the couch. Was I even human? The living room lights were off, but the curtains were open, letting the moonlight stream in. She was standing on a balcony, staring up at the night sky, her silhouette looking so lonely and forlorn. To fall from such great heights, from a goddess to a nobody, anyone with less mental fortitude would probably be on a rooftop contemplating their existence right now. There I went again, my heart aching for someone else's troubles. I started. Anna, turn around. She'd already taken a shower. Her long hair was damp and fell over her chest, with a few strands clinging to her forehead, framing a pair of deep, unreadable dark eyes. My eyes drifted downwards. She was wearing a silk V-neck nightgown that revealed her delicate collarbones and her fair, glowing skin. I quickly averted my gaze, telling myself not to stare. I looked up, my eyes darting around the room. It's a little chilly tonight," I stammered, "and the couch is pretty hard. You could catch a cold. Maybe, we could just share the bed." She paused, then asked uncertainly, "You mean sleep together?" "What do you mean, sleep together? Don't twist my words." My ears grew hot, and my nervousness made me tongue-tied. "I meant we sleep in the same bed, under the same covers, but like just talking. Don't get the wrong idea." The moment the words left my mouth, I wanted to smack myself. What was I even saying? I heard a soft chuckle, and when I looked up, Anna's expression was perfectly composed again. She nodded. "Well, if you insist." With that, she picked up her pillow and walked past me into the bedroom, her steps noticeably light and cheerful. I scratched my head, feeling like I'd missed something. But Anna's good mood didn't last long. She stared at the long body pillow I had placed down the middle of the bed, her lips twitching. "Noah, what is this?" I clear my throat. I'm a restless sleeper. I was afraid I might kick you in the middle of the night. So, I put up a little barrier." My eyes darted away. I wasn't afraid of kicking her. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to control myself, that my baser instincts would take over and I'd pounce on her. I might have a lot of things, but a strong moral compass wasn't one of them. A small smile played on her lips as she lifted the pillow and tossed it aside. Her alluring eyes narrowed as she leaned in closer. "Are you afraid of kicking me? Or are you afraid of what I might do to you?" I leaned back, my throat suddenly dry. "Are you that kind of person?" She chuckled softly. "You trust me that much?" Of course I trusted her. After all, we'd been married all that time, and she'd never once made a move on me. It was clear she wasn't interested. The problem was, I was definitely interested in her. If I hadn't heard that her old flame was coming back from overseas, I would have been terrified she'd impulsively leave me. I figured it was better to strike first and be the one in control. So I asked for a divorce. When I brought it up, she didn't say a word, just agreed the very next day. Thinking back, our marriage was rushed, and our divorce was even more so. We really put the people at the county clerk's office through a lot. "Let's just get some sleep," I muttered. I hugged the body pillow, rolled over, and squeezed my eyes shut, pretending to be asleep until I actually drifted off. I woke up in the middle of the night, needing to use the bathroom, only to realize the body pillow in my arms had been replaced by Anna. I was holding her tightly, her scent enveloping me. She was facing me, fast asleep, her breathing even. The nightlight was still on, so I could clearly see her long, thick eyelashes. My hand had a mind of its own. I couldn't stop myself from gently brushing her lashes. She stirred slightly, and I snatched my hand back in a panic, slowly untangling my legs from hers. Just as I was about to lift her hand from my waist, she opened her eyes. We stared at each other, and I was so mortified my toes curled up inside. We were frozen like that for what felt like 5 minutes before I finally managed to croak out an excuse. "Sorry, I told you I was a restless sleeper. Did I wake you?" I tried to scramble out of bed, but she grabbed my wrist, her hand warm against my skin. A jolt went through my entire body, leaving me paralyzed. I was as stiff as a board. Seeing me frozen, Anna got up and came over to my side, her brow furrowed with concern. "What's wrong?" The next morning when I woke up, Anna was gone from the bed. The memory of last night made me want to launch myself into space from sheer embarrassment. I must have jumped up too fast because my leg cramped up and I couldn't stand properly. I was also desperate for the bathroom. And just as I thought I was going to lose control, Anna appeared and, without a word, helped me to the toilet. It felt so good to be taken care of. It just would have been better if it hadn't been under such humiliating circumstances. A light knock came at the door, followed by Anna's pleasant voice. "Are you awake? If you are, come out for breakfast." "Be right there," I said quietly. When I finished getting ready and walked out, I was stunned to see a huge spread on the table. "You made all this?" "No," she admitted. "I only made the eggs. The rest is delivery." She presented a plate of scrambled eggs, smiling sheepishly. "They're a little burnt." Then let's not eat them, I said, feeling a wave of relief. If a high-powered CEO could run a business empire and also be a gourmet chef, it would defy the laws of the universe. The perfect women in novels are fake. A real woman has flaws. So where'd you get the money for breakfast? She hesitated for a moment. I sold my purse. How tragic. The Golden Girl, reduced to selling her designer bags for food. I honestly didn't know what to say to comfort her. During breakfast, I asked casually, "By the way, how much did you get for the purse?" "Oh, not much," she replied, just as casually. "Just around 20,000. I was so shocked my donut slipped from my fingers and splashed into my coffee. "Are you kidding me?" Anna didn't notice the look on my face and continued worriedly, "Don't worry, I won't be a freeloader. I can get a job." I had to bite my tongue to stop myself from yelling. What kind of job? My entire life savings isn't even worth as much as that one purse you just sold. As expected, even a bankrupt, rich person was in a better position than a regular guy like me. Was her idea of a job being a consultant for Fort Knox? While I was stewing in my confusion, Anna sighed. "When we divorced, I offered you half of everything, but you refused." Why did I refuse? I must have been insane. I guess I felt guilty taking it. That's why I chose to leave the marriage with nothing, just as I had come into it. I didn't take so much as a toothpick from her family. "It's fine," I said, trying to console her. "Money is just money. You can always earn more. I'm sure someone as smart as you can make a comeback." There I went again, feeling other people's pain. She seemed touched by my words. Then a second later, my phone buzzed with a notification. "Venmo. You received $50,000. I just stared at the screen, utterly confused. Anna looked at me seriously. "It's going to cost money for me to eat and live here. Will that be enough?" My eyes widened. More than enough. That was enough to feed an army. And just like that, Anna moved in. After breakfast, she took a phone call and headed for the door. "You're not really going to get a job, are you?" I asked. She was going from being a top executive who ran an empire with the flick of a pen to someone who would be ordered around by others. The thought was just depressing. She had plenty of money now. Why did she need to push herself so hard? "Are you worried about me?" she asked, her hand on the doorknob, her eyes twinkling. I shook my head. "Nope." The light in her eyes faded for a second, but she quickly recovered. "Okay, I'm off," she smiled. "Don't worry about making me lunch. But could you make your sweet and sour pork ribs for dinner tonight?" Mrs. Blackwood had loved my sweet and sour pork ribs, and since Anna visited her grandmother frequently, she always managed to snag a few pieces. "Sure," I nodded. Inside, I was ecstatic. "Of course I'll make them. You deposited 50 grand into my account for food. Forget pork ribs. I'll get you lobster and filet mignon. Although, we should probably still try to be careful with the money." I was tempted to follow Anna secretly, just to see what kind of hardship she was facing, but I held back, not wanting to embarrass her. It was my day off, so after breakfast, I went to the farmer's market to buy groceries. I knew most of the vendors there. The butcher, seeing me carefully picking out a cut of pork, grinned. "Getting something to keep your lady strong, I see." I paused for a second, then nodded. Hard work requires good, nutritious food. In that moment, I tacitly accepted Anna as my woman. A small smile touched my lips as I went back to carefully selecting the best cut of meat. I was heading home, loaded down with groceries, when my friend Evan called. "Hey, the class president is organizing a reunion. And you know that pretentious jerk, Blake? He's going to be there. I heard he's bringing his new rich kid girlfriend to show off," Evan continued. "He always acts so smug around you. But your lady is a real deal CEO of a major corporation. You got to show up and put him in his place." I didn't say anything. "What's wrong?" Evan pressed. I covered my face with my hand. "Because we're divorced," I mumbled, "and that's so. She's bankrupt now." That evening, I cooked up a feast and Anna came home. Seeing the spread on the table, Anna lavished praise on my cooking. "With skills like these," she said. I joked back. "It's a shame I'm not a professional chef, right?" She placed a pork rib in my bowl. "How could I ever let you be just a chef?" The air suddenly went still. Throughout our marriage, our relationship could best be described as mutually respectful, like polite strangers. We barely touched, let alone exchanged sweet words. Yet now that we were divorced, She seemed to have thrown all caution to the wind. I played dumb. You should eat more. After dinner, Anna offered to do the dishes. I was about to protest, but then I figured that if I babied her, she might get the wrong idea. Thanks, I'd appreciate that, I said with a smile. 10 minutes later, I wasn't smiling anymore. The brand new set of dishes I had just bought was now a casualty of Anna's dishwashing attempt. Staring at the shattered pieces on the floor, Anna gave an embarrassed laugh. Oops, I'll buy you a new set. Don't worry about it, I said. It's just a set of plates. We both knelt to pick up the shards, but we misjudged the distance and slammed our foreheads together with a loud thud. The impact sent me off balance, and I tumbled backward onto the floor, my legs twitching. It was utterly humiliating. Are you okay? Anna rushed over to help me. I'm fine. I mumbled, though I was seeing stars. She gently rubbed my forehead, her touch incredibly soft. At this distance, her dark eyes were as bright as the moon, and I could see my own reflection in them. We were only inches apart. I could feel her breath on my skin. Are you sure you're okay? Your face is a little red, she asked. Oh, that's because of the red wine and the beef we had. It's just getting to me, I lied. It wasn't the wine making my head spin, it was her. Anna smiled, watching me with a relaxed amusement. Is that so? Then why don't I feel anything? Can't she just take a hint? Does she have to call me out on everything? Honestly, after we cleaned up the kitchen, I started cutting up some fruit while Anna stepped outside to take a phone call. I couldn't understand why she had to be so secretive, taking her calls outside. It had to be her old flame. At the thought, my hand faltered over the apple, and a bitter feeling welled up inside me. I was so lost in a mental movie of Anna having a tearful reunion with her first love that I didn't even notice her come back inside and walk up to me. She said my name, and I jumped, slicing my finger with a knife. Seeing the blood, Anna's expression turned grim. She rushed over and grabbed my hand. How could you be so careless? She chided. Lady, it wasn't carelessness. You scared the daylights out of me. But was she actually worried about me? 10 minutes later, I stared at my finger, which was now bandaged so thickly it looked like a carrot. My lip twitched. You did this. She looked up at me, her gaze steady. It's creative, I added quickly. She patted my hand with a look of pure indulgence. Don't get it wet for a few days. I'll take care of everything. You just need a rest. I'd only gotten a tiny cut, but she was treating me like I was an invalid. It's really nothing, I insisted. It's just a scratch. It'll be healed by tomorrow. It reminded me of a joke about a celebrity who went to the hospital for a paper cut, and the doctor said, if you'd come 5 minutes later, the wound would have closed up on its own. I let out a dumb laugh. When I finished, I saw she was staring at me intently, her gaze so warm and sweet it felt like thick caramel. My laughter died in my throat. Internally, I was screaming. Why on earth did I tell such a terrible dad joke? Even if Anna was down on her luck, she hadn't lost an ounce of her class or taste. I looked down, embarrassed. Sorry, that was a pretty dumb joke. It wasn't that funny, she agreed, but I like hearing them from you. When I was taking care of your grandmother, she loved listening to my jokes. I used to search online for new ones to tell her all the time. Sometimes Anna would come to visit, and she'd lean quietly against the doorframe, watching us. I'd be laughing my head off with Mrs. Blackwood, and I'd turn and see Anna there, a gentle smile on her face. I'd immediately straighten up and become serious. Miss Blackwood. She would give me a small nod and walk in. My darling girl, you're here, Mrs. Blackwood would exclaim. Seeing Anna, a joyful smile would spread across Mrs. Blackwood's wrinkled face. Figuring they had things to talk about, I would prepare to leave, but Anna would stop me. You're not an outsider, Noah. You don't have to go. Hearing that, Mrs. Blackwood would give us a knowing look, which always made me feel a little awkward. What did she mean? Not an outsider. After Mrs. Blackwood was asleep, I'd walk Anna to the door. This was the best care facility in the state. You couldn't get in without serious status and money. Anna was too busy with work to care for her grandmother personally, and Mrs. Blackwood felt lonely with just hired help at home, so they chose this place. It had professional nurses, nutritionists, doctors, and therapists. Most importantly, it gave her other people to talk to, though I was usually the one keeping her company. The facility was located in the hills outside the city, where the air was clean and everything was green. Walking along the paths, surrounded by birdsong and flowers, you felt like your soul was being cleansed. Anna and I would walk side by side on the lush green pathways. After a moment of silence, she said, "Thank you for taking such good care of my grandmother." I glanced over and met her cool, clear eyes, and my heart skipped a beat. I quickly looked away. "Are you nervous?" she asked. I shook my head vigorously. "Nope, not nervous." It was a total lie. I don't know why, but seeing her always made my heart race and my throat dry up, making it impossible to speak properly. Maybe it was just her powerful presence. I was a nobody, and I didn't dare act out of line in front of her. "Good that you're not nervous," she said with a light chuckle. It wasn't the first time I'd seen her smile, but set against the green landscape and the clear blue sky, it was utterly bewitching. That smile hit me right in the core of my being. Evan called again, demanding that I bring my woman to the reunion to make a good showing, threatening to hunt me down if I didn't. Left with no choice, I had to ask Anna for help. After I explained the situation, she sat on the couch, tapping her finger on the coffee table. "So, you want me to go to your class reunion and pretend to be your wife?" she asked quietly. I nodded sheepishly. "If it's too much trouble." "It's not," we both said at the same time. Realizing she'd agreed, I quickly shut my mouth. A smile played on her lips. "It's the least I can do. After all, I'm living here and eating your food. I should contribute in some way, right?" But she'd already paid her way, with $50,000. Anna looked troubled. "But I'm broke now. I don't have anything suitable to wear. I'll buy you something." I volunteered, raising my hand. "Well then, no time like the present," she said decisively. "Let's go now." Now. Anna was every bit the decisive executive. She pulled me downstairs, where a Maybach was waiting at the curb. I was stunned. "What's this?" Anna opened the door. "It's a rental," she explained. "We need to look the part, don't we? It's all about appearances in business. If you don't have a nice car to make an impression, people won't even give you the time of day." I felt a pang of sympathy for her. She had been so powerful and self-assured, and now she was reduced to putting on a show just to get back on her feet. I felt a wave of helplessness wash over me. If only I were more capable, I could be helping her. She paused, and then her eyes softened, taking on a gentle, warm light. "You're silly," she said softly. That one word made my heart pound and my breath catch in my throat. We got to the department store on 5th Avenue, and Anna led me straight to a high-end designer boutique. While she was in the dressing room, I snuck a peek at a price tag. My heart instantly started hammering in my chest, and I could feel my blood pressure spike. A sales associate brought me a cup of coffee with a charming smile. "She'll be just a moment. We have magazines if you'd like, and please let me know if you need anything at all." I gave a non-committal grunt. As I sipped my coffee, I did a quick mental calculation. My savings could probably cover the cheapest dress here, but it would wipe me out completely. The thought was agonizing. Why did a few scraps of cloth have to cost so much? While I was agonizing over the cost, Anna emerged from the dressing room. Even the professionally trained sales associate couldn't hide her look of astonishment. I was just frozen, staring. With her incredible figure and that unique air she carried, it didn't matter if she was on top of the world or at rock bottom. Anna would always be the most captivating person in any room. As she walked toward me, my breathing grew heavy and my heart hammered against my ribs. When she got closer and saw my stunned expression, she looked puzzled. "What's wrong?" "Nothing," I gasped, fanning my face. "It's just a little warm in here." Anna raised an eyebrow. "The air conditioning is on full blast. Can a guy save face?" Thankfully, she didn't press the issue. "So what do you think of this one?" she asked. It was gorgeous, but the price tag was hideous. "It's beautiful," I said, meaning it. "You look good in anything." "Such a sweet talker," she replied. Since she'd made her decision, I steeled myself to go pay for it. But Anna stopped me with a smile. "I have some store credit here I never used." "We don't need your money." The associate checked the account. "Certainly, miss. The dress comes to $12,000. After the deduction, your account will have a remaining balance of $90,000. Will you be adding to that today?" I nearly dropped my coffee. "No, that's fine for now," Anna said calmly. I believe you have a men's department as well. Yes, we do, Miss Blackwood, the associate replied with a smile. Anna gestured toward me with her chin. Get him something nice. I was trying on a suit when I realized it was a bit too tight. I called out automatically, Excuse me, could I get this in the next size up, please? Just then, the dressing room door was pushed open silently. I turned to say thanks and found myself face to face with Anna, our noses almost touching. We were a fraction of an inch from kissing. I leaped away like a startled monkey. What are you doing in here? Did they have to step out for something? I asked, suspicious. This was a high-end boutique where the customer was always right. The sales staff were supposed to wait right outside the dressing room. There was no way they would have just wandered off. Anna must have sent them away. Anna stared at me, her eyes full of genuine admiration. Does it look bad? It looks great, she said, as if snapping out of trance. She nodded slowly. You look very handsome. You don't have to flatter me, I said. I know it's just to make me feel better. My mom always said I have a short torso, so nothing really looks good on me. That's not a short torso, she insisted. That's a perfect physique that makes any suit look good. See? People who know how to talk can make all the difference. I was feeling pretty good until I asked about the price. Then I wanted to retreat. Never mind, I said. It's way too expensive. The sales associate, sensing a commission, jumped in. When a wife is buying a suit for her handsome husband, can you really put a price on it, Miss Blackwood? I'm not, I started to say, but Anna cut me off by walking directly to the register to pay. After we got back, Evan called. Noah, you all set? Tomorrow, 7 p.m., the plaza. I glanced at Anna, who was heading for the shower. Yeah, I said, exhausted. We bled a lot of money today for the sake of my stupid pride. I lowered my voice. Anna's supposed to be bankrupt, and she's still doing all this for me. I don't know how I can possibly repay her. Just offer yourself up on a silver platter, Evan joked. Did you forget we're divorced? So, you can get remarried. You're already living together. Proximity is everything, my friend. It's the perfect opportunity. Evan was just talking nonsense. What kind of advice was that? I'm out of the shower, Anna announced, toweling her hair as she walked out of the bathroom. I ran a bath for you. I glanced at her, and my blood immediately ran hot. Why was she only wearing a towel? She seemed to notice my reaction and cleared her throat. Sorry, I forgot to bring my pajamas in with me. It's fine, no problem, I stammered, covering my eyes but peeking through the gaps of my fingers anyway. You should go before the water gets cold. Anna didn't call out my peeking, instead walking away with an unhurried grace that showed off her figure. In the shower, I thought about what Evan had said. After these past few days, I knew one thing for sure. I was falling for Anna. I couldn't just let her go, but I was still worried about her old flame returning. I didn't want to be the one who got dumped. I wanted to be in control, to be able to walk away with my head held high if necessary. But I was realizing you can't be detached when you truly care about someone. I just wished that old flame didn't exist. I had just finished my shower when, with a sudden pop, the lights went out. I hadn't even gotten dressed yet. I heard Anna's voice from outside the door. There's a blackout. Are you okay in there? I'm Phoenix. I called back. I frantically tried to cover myself, but then I thought, what was I worried about? I'm a grown man. It's not like Anna would just barge in. And even if she did, it was pitch black. She wouldn't see a thing. I relaxed, and just as I reached for my clothes, my foot slipped on the wet floor and I went down hard. Hearing the loud thud, Anna's voice filled with panic. What was that? Are you all right? It took me a second to catch my breath. I fell. I groaned. The door creaked open. In the darkness, I heard her voice again, closer this time. Noah, are you hurt? Where did it hurt? My tailbone and my back, I gasped. It hurts a lot. Anna draped a robe over my shoulders. Even in the complete darkness, I was surrounded by her familiar, pleasant scent. We used the same body wash, and there was something oddly intimate about that. As she helped me, her fingers accidentally brushed against my bare chest. I felt her tense up for a second. Sorry, she whispered. Soon, the paramedics arrived and loaded me onto a stretcher, with Anna right by my side. In the ambulance, I asked her, Anna, what if I'm paralyzed? I can't feel anything from the waist down. The thought of being confined to a wheelchair, completely dependent on others, brought tears to my eyes. Am I going to be a cripple? What am I going to do if I can't walk? Anna squeezed my hand. Don't worry, she said softly. You're going to be fine. And even if you're not, I'll be here to take care of you, always. Do you mean that? When have I ever broken a promise to you? I thought for a moment, then pulled my hand away. No, I couldn't let you do that. I wouldn't be a burden. The paramedic beside us finally chimed in. Kid, relax. You're going to be okay. After a battery of tests, the doctor confirmed I was just badly bruised. I let out a huge sigh of relief. No wheelchair for me. About the reunion tomorrow, Anna asked, still looking concerned. Are you still up for it? Maybe we should cancel. No, we have to go, I insisted. I'm Fina. If I bail, Evan will literally kill me. He really is relentless. Anna nodded. All right, then tomorrow, I'll make sure you look very, very good. The next day, Anna had something to take care of and said she'd be a little late. Evan was blowing up my phone, so I decided to go on ahead. It was easy enough to get a cab. The moment I walked into the hotel, a snide voice cut through the chatter. Well, if it isn't Noah. Nice suit. Though on you. Evan shot him a death glare. What about it? Blake smirked. It's a bit of a waste is all. Evan started to lunge at him, but I held him back. Don't stoop to his level. Evan took a deep breath. I know, but I still really want to punch that jerk. I knew Evan was just defending me. We've been classmates with Blake since high school. His family had some money, and he always used it to bully other kids. I couldn't stand it, and spoke up for someone he was picking on once. From that day on, I became his new favorite target. If it weren't for Evan, who was a Taekwondo black belt, my high school years would have been a living hell. Thinking about it still made my blood boil, but what could I do? Whoa, whose is that black car? That thing is insane. Someone shouted. We all turned to look. A sleek, black supercar I'd never seen before was pulling up to the entrance. Evan got excited. No way. Is it the concept car I sent you the link to? I thought there was only one of them in the entire world. I'm just glad I get to see in person. I wonder who owns it. Just then, the car stopped, the driver's side door swung open, and a slim figure emerged. Evan and I both froze. It was Anna. She walked directly up to me and smiled softly. Sorry, am I late for the party? There was a collective gasp from the people around us. The look on Blake's face was priceless. I pulled her aside and whispered, It's just a class reunion, Anna. Where on earth did you rent a car like that? If that's not a replica, it's literally one of a kind. Your only job today is to eat, drink, and have a good time, she said, smoothly linking her arm through mine. Don't you worry about anything else. I was on edge the entire dinner. Blake spent the whole time taking shots at Anna. Everyone there knew who she was, the famous tech mogul. But they also knew, thanks to the news, that she had gone bankrupt. Blake, being the classless jerk he is, used her bankruptcy as ammunition. He was passive-aggressive all through the meal. Well, if it isn't the famous Anna Blackwood of Blackwood Enterprises, he said loudly. Oh, that's right. The company's bankrupt. I guess we can't call you CEO anymore. Before I could even react, Evan snapped. Blake, if you're not going to use your mouth for anything worthwhile, maybe you should donate it. Oh, wait. No one would want it after all the garbage that comes out of it. I silently cheered him on. Well said. Blake just snorted. Birds of a feather flock together. Eating with you people is really dragging me down. That was it for me. Class isn't about your designer clothes or your expensive watch. I shot back. It's about how you treat people. And frankly, we'd rather not share a table with someone who has none. With that, I grabbed Evan's arm with one hand and Anna's with the other and started to leave. This was my fault. I never should have come and subjected Anna to this humiliation. What did you just say to me? Blake sputtered. Blake, who clearly had never been spoken to like that in his life, grabbed the nearest wine bottle and hurled it at my head. I flinched, but the impact never came. I opened my eyes. Anna was standing in front of me, having shielded me. Her face was like a thundercloud as she glared at Blake. You psycho. You tried to assault him. Evan roared, finally snapping. He rolled up his sleeves. I'm going to beat you senseless. I rushed to hold him back. If Evan actually hit him, Blake would twist the story and get him into serious trouble, especially since his father was a powerful man, which was the source of all his arrogance. What is going on here? A sharp voice cut in. We all turned. It was a glamorous woman I recognized from society pages, some kind of heiress. Blake immediately went to her, whining, "Honey, they were bullying me." He put on a pathetic, wounded expression and took her hand, shooting us a triumphant smirk. 3 against 1. Who do you think was bullying who? Evan retorted. Then, the woman's eyes landed on Anna, and her entire demeanor shifted. "And Miss Blackwood," she stammered. Anna glanced at her coldly. "Is this your boyfriend?" The woman nodded hesitantly. "Excellent," Anna said with a frosty smile. "Mr. Blake, you can expect a call from my lawyers. And as for you," she said, turning back to the heiress, "we need to seriously reconsider our recent business arrangement." With that, Anna strode up to Blake and, without warning, slapped him hard across the face. The entire room fell silent. Evan gasped. I was speechless. Anna was always so controlled and poised. I never thought she would do something so direct. Blake clutched his cheek, looking at her in disbelief. "You hit me." Anna calmly took out a tissue and wiped her hand, her eyes like daggers. "I never resort to violence," she said, her voice dripping with ice. "But I'm making an exception for you. For all the years you bullied Noah, I promise you, I will repay every single slight." Evan cheered. "That's my girl. You tell him." Anna gave him an appreciative smile. Then she came back to me, took my hand, and smiled warmly. "The food here is awful anyway. Let's go somewhere else." I was still in a daze and let her lead me out. The heiress, who had been a silent spectator until now, finally snapped out of it and ran after us. "Miss Blackwood, wait." Anna turned around, her smile razor-sharp. "Take one more step, and you will regret it." It wasn't until we were back in the car that my brain started working again. Why did she call you Miss Blackwood and talk about a business deal? I thought you were bankrupt. That woman had been utterly deferential, which is not how you treat someone who's lost everything. Anna looked at me silently for a long moment. She took a deep breath, then let it out slowly. "Noah, there's something I've been keeping from you. I was afraid you'd be mad, so I never told you." "Told me what?" "My company did go bankrupt," she said. "But I'm also the sole heir to the Blackwood family empire." My mind was reeling. She continued. "I started my own company from scratch and worked hard to build it up. But my father was never happy about it. He wanted me to come home and take over the family business. So, he secretly orchestrated my company's downfall to force my hand. Noah, I never wanted to lie, but then you asked for a divorce and I didn't know how else to show you how I felt. So this was the woman who had just been a force of nature, now apologizing to me so humbly. I'm so sorry. If you're angry, you can yell at me. Do whatever you want. I clenched my teeth. I hate being lied to. A flicker of panic crossed her face. I know, I'm sorry. Then she brightened. But on the other hand, you let me slap that jerk, which was incredibly satisfying. So maybe we can call it even. Anna let out a breath of relief. You have no idea how long I've wanted to do that. I just never had the guts. Thank you for giving me the chance. Years of pent-up anger are finally gone. She started tracing circles on my chest with her finger. I didn't realize my husband was so good at holding a grudge. I'll have to be careful not to get on your bad side. It took me a second to react. My ears went hot. Who's your husband? I'm your ex-husband, I reminded her. And what about your old flame, the one coming back from overseas? Old flame. Anna looked confused. What are you talking about? You were my first love. She quickly looked down and cleared her throat. I mean, seeing my jaw on the floor, she sighed. Look, there is no old flame. I don't know what you imagined. The first and only man I've ever fallen for is you. I swallowed hard. You did? When? That day, I went to visit my grandmother, she said, and I saw you telling her a joke. You were laughing so hard. That was it for me. As she spoke, Anna pulled a small box from her bag. Inside was a pair of wedding rings. She looked at me, her eyes full of emotion. Noah, will you marry me again? I hesitated. But we're from two different worlds. I only married you the first time to honor your grandmother's wish. And now, won't you honor mine? She asked, her gaze burning into me. I couldn't answer, because just then, she leaned in and kissed me. She pulled back slowly, her eyes shining. If you say no, I suppose I'll just have to live out my days as a lonely old spinster.